A couple of things allowed rock and roll to spread as fast as it did. The first was radio in the car. The world became more mobile in the years following World War II, and people wanted to take their radios with them. The first car radios appeared in 1930, the Motorola 5T71. It was a huge and delicate thing with vacuum tubes, and they were expensive. A car might sell for $600 back then. The radio option might be another $120 on top of that. And then there were politicians who hated the whole concept. It was the equivalent of today's campaigns of getting people to stop texting and Facebooking while driving. The leader of the anti-radio distracted driving campaign back then was a guy named George A. Parker, the registrar of motor vehicles in the state of Massachusetts. He wanted the state to ban the installation and use of radios in cars. Listening to the radio while driving causes crashes, he said. And he came close to having his way. But the good citizens of Massachusetts rose up as one and shouted him down. Parker went on to target drunk drivers instead, which was a much better thing. The other device that spread rock and roll was the iPod of its day, the transistor radio. Up until 1954, radios were big, clunky things, big pieces of furniture that took up space in the living room. Listening to the radio was a communal experience, something that the whole family did at the same time. People gathered around the big radio much like they'd soon gather around the television. This made it difficult for young people in the early 1950s who were looking to be different from their parents. And one of the things that allowed them to be different was a new radio, the transistor radio. Transistor radios were tiny portable things that could be taken anywhere. They also came with little earpieces, which meant that you could listen to them privately. It was, to the young people of the 50s, what smartphones are to young people today. It was a liberating device. The transistor radio and rock and roll arrived at exactly the same time. This new social and economic construct called a teenager could now take his or her music with them everywhere, out of sight and earshot of mom and dad. And when you consider the impact that rock music had on society, the transistor radio became one of the most important technological innovations of the 20th century. With its ability to serve up rock and roll anywhere, anytime, it became a delivery mechanism for a cultural revolution, a social revolution, an economic revolution, a political revolution, a technological revolution, and a sexual revolution.